makofi ya caramel. I know caramel. What else?
Na vile amefanya vizuri.
Oh wow.
Alafu wanashindwa kwa nini kwa background watu wakuli chocolate.
Breastfeeding in a woman living with HIV is very effective. Very, 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 very effective. And treat it as a, as a woman who is HIV negative. The same way you as a woman who is HIV negative really want to breastfeed, and you need your kid to have the best in terms of the first 6 months exclusive breastfeeding. Is the same way with a woman who is HIV positive. But now the difference comes in when there are restrictions. Personally, my experience is that I have 2 kids. The first one is now 3.5 years old, Emanuela Faraja. The second one is 2.5 years old, Ahadi Mor. And I breastfed my kids. I got Faraja that was in 2014. Actually, Faraja is a baby Christmas. I got Faraja on 26th December. So anyway, I breastfed Faraja exclusively for the first 6 months. And then something funny, something so funny is that at 5 months, I conceived Ahadi. When I was still breastfeeding Faraja, I conceived Ahadi. But still, I kept on breastfeeding Faraja, even when I was pregnant with Ahadi. You see the way people always say that you should not breastfeed at some point. If you are pregnant with the other child, now you should not breastfeed this other one. I'm telling you guys, me, I breastfed my child exclusively for the first 6 months. And then after that, I did mixed feeding with her. So I was breastfeeding her and then introducing her to Gali and all that. That is Nani Faraja. And then I got Ahadi. I stopped breastfeeding Faraja like today, and Ahadi is coming tomorrow. Literally. And I remember lying to the nurses in the hospital that no, I'm no longer breastfeeding. But then I would breastfeed. Not exclusively, of course, but then I breastfed till the last day, today, and then tomorrow now we are having Ahadi. When I gave birth to Ahadi, I had to stop breastfeeding. When I gave birth to Ahadi, I had to stop breastfeeding Faraja. But then it's the same process I used, breastfeeding Ahadi exclusively for the first 6 months, and then after that, actually we had a long journey with Ahadi quitting breast milk, because we introduced mixed feeding when Ahadi was the 7th month. Now it was literally exclusive for 6 months. Well, and then that was so normal. It was a normal process, like a woman living with not having HIV. But now the controversy comes in when you are a woman who is HIV positive and you have the highest amount of virus in the body. When you have the highest amount of virus in the body, it means that chances of you infecting your child when breastfeeding is very high. Basically, you need to go to the facility and ask them if you are, about your viral load. Inquire the amount of virus in the body that you have as a woman living with HIV before you even get pregnant. That is before you conceive. Ask. If you have lesser viral load, then it means that you can get pregnant. That means if you have what they call it copies, if you have lesser viral load or copies, then you can get pregnant. If you get pregnant and you still maintain the same viral load, which is undetectable, it cannot be detected, then that means you can breastfeed your child exclusively for the first 6 months, and then you introduce them to complementary feeding. You can have a normal breastfeeding journey like I did with my kids. But if you are not eligible for breastfeeding, so that is how effective it is actually, by the way. But if you are not eligible for breastfeeding, if you have detectable viral load, the facility will tell you. But then do not make a mistake of having detectable virus that can be detected in the body and then you go and breastfeed your child. It means that you're going to infect your child knowingly. Really, we don't want to raise HIV positive kids. For how long should a HIV positive woman breastfeed? This should be for the first 6 months exclusively, and then you introduce complementary feeding or mixed feeding up to 2 years according to the new HIV and AIDS guidelines. And yeah, you should breastfeed if you have undetectable viral load. If you do not have undetectable viral load, do not breastfeed your child. What happens when you breastfeed and introduce food between 6 months? You need to decide with your doctor if you want to breastfeed exclusively for the first 6 months or if you do not want to breastfeed at all, because this is what happens if you introduce the food in between the 6 months. You know, the esophagus of the baby is so smooth, and that's why when you start introducing other foods in between the 6 months, they might get exposed to HIV. And by foods I even mean porridge. I mean, you should do exclusive. It should be exclusive. There's not even water. It should be exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months. I remember when I was breastfeeding my child, there's a time I was so tempted to start introducing the child to the food, because at some point I had lesser supply of milk, but then I kept on expressing my breast milk because I really needed to complete the first 6 months of exclusive breastfeeding. Otherwise I would have exposed my child to HIV as a woman living with HIV. So yeah, just stick to either starting off with breastfeeding exclusively, because it needs to be for the first 6 months, or you do not breastfeed at all. But then yeah, you need to really choose, and you need to really choose so fast, and it needs to be a long-term decision. Yeah.